Hey, good afternoon, guys. I'm Metaphysical Mike. I hope every one of you is having a great afternoon so far. This is Believe Beyond Boundaries, my life story so far, 20 years old. I am going to tell you all about my journey, my struggles I went through, and how I made it out on the other side stronger. So, when I was really young, I never felt like I belonged in this world. I felt like an outcast. I felt like, you know what, life is just, why am I here? And I kept asking myself, like, my purpose, like, what am I meant to do with my life? What is going on? And at 4 years old, the doctor was like, okay, so he has some dexterity issues in his left hand, which means he's going to have trouble writing. So I took some of these classes and basically, like, at a pencil, like, you drew in, like, the lines and stuff. And I just was really terrible. And I flunked a lot of my classes. I couldn't really focus well. I had a horrible speech impediment that started when I was really young. I stuttered a lot, and it was not an easy journey. It was really tough. But I'll tell you this, as soon as I graduated from speech class in third grade, I started to say to myself, maybe things are going to get a little bit better. Maybe I am more stronger than I thought. But, I was young. I was like 7, 8 years old, so that's what a lot of 7, 8 year olds kind of are like. They're kind of naive. They're kind of like, oh, I can do everything. So I had a lot of disbelief in my heart, and I had a lot of struggle. I remember my mom would take me on this balancing beam. We would go to this little gym in like Eastern Pennsylvania, and I would have to have balance because I had sensory integration, which means basically my motor skills are misaligned with my physical body. So I couldn't draw, I couldn't really read. I was in a bunch of these classes. And I did not like elementary school at all. I felt like an outcast. I would always be in the back of the classroom, like drawing or either playing, like putting together. I loved electricity. Nikola Tesla fascinates me now, but when I was a kid, I loved science. I loved magic shows. That was one of my greater passions when I was really, really young. But basically, as you can see, I went through a lot of different stuff, but into middle school, I thought to myself, okay, things have got to turn around, but no, middle school was terrible. I would never go back to middle school. That was Sandy Run Middle School. And, I started to, like, go through a lot of trauma. Like, 6th grade was tough because my grandma, Janet, died from cancer, and I was really young. I was only 13, 14 years old, and this was my 6th grade. This was 2 days after Valentine's Day, so it was not easy. I skipped school for a few days, and plus, it wasn't just that, the loss of, my grandma, like we were really close, but I just got bullied. I got tortured. I got harassed. People gave me death threats. People said, you're never going to do this. You can't do that. And I thought to myself, okay, things got to turn around, right? Well, eventually, going closer to my 7th and 8th grade experience, I had a lot of tough times, especially with depression. I was going through mood swings. I mean, those hormones that kick in when you're a teen adolescent, when you're going through the earlier stages of being a teen. I was going through mood swings, ups and downs, and the doctor. I remember his name was Ron Lewis Associates. He would give me all these cocktails, not cocktails. I mean, he would give me all these like medicine for anxiety, for feeling depression, for stress. But these medicines didn't really help me. These medicines made me really, really tired. Seroquel is one of the worst medicines I've ever been on. I would never recommend that. Or Risperdal. Risperdal actually grows male. It's actually known now right now to grow male breast tissue, which is pretty insane. But middle school was like going out of my way. It was tough. I didn't have a lot of friends. People stood me up. I went through a lot of crazy routes, a lot of drama, a lot of people, they walked out of my life. Not necessarily walked out as in like they died, but I did lose my grandma. But, I had some friends that only wanted me. They felt bad for me. I had a really nice house, I'll be honest with you. I was pretty financially comfortable. My family is. So, yeah, I did have a tough time making friends. And then 7th and 8th grade, I put a hood over my head every day, and I would listen to music, and I'd fall asleep, and I would be like, what the hell is my purpose? And then, I did love the weather. One of my passions was the weather ever since I was a little boy. And into high school, I thought to myself, hey, I'm going to be a meteorologist. This is my calling. So I got on the news. I started a Facebook group, Mid-Atlantic Weather Center, 17,000 people. It was cool and everything. It was nice, having going on 6 ABC News. I'm in Philadelphia and in Ballykinwood, meeting Glenn Hurricane Schwartz, the chief meteorologist. It was cool and nice and everything, but something was missing. And closer to high school, I started feeling off. I felt like something still was wrong. And then closer to my senior year of high school, I graduated. Things did turn around, but there was one thing that just made me go nuts. And then after I graduated from high school, I got my diploma. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I thought to myself, oh, my graduation party's coming up in a few days. Things are going to get better and better. I worked at Wawa. I worked at Yogurtland. I worked at a few jobs. I worked at quite a few jobs in my lifetime so far. I know I sound like I'm talking as if I'm like, 100 years old or 70. But basically, I went through a lot of changes and stuff, and then I got accepted into Penn State Abington. Penn State Abington, I was so looking forward to. I mean, I was a little scared because I just got off from doing from high school, and I basically switched from that That change was huge because I was shifting from basically, having a lot of adult support to being on my own, being independent, and having things on my own. Now you have to realize this, that going into college was cool and stuff. I thought, I was with my advisor, I said, I'm going to be a chief meteorologist. But basically what happened was last May, I went into a huge depression, and it was not easy. And it was a rough period. This lasted quite a few months. May of 2017, it was the week after finals. I was depressed. I sat on my sofa. There was a point. Now, forget me making YouTube videos, so forget me being on Facebook, having a business for spiritual, inspirational t-shirts, but there was a point last May, my anxiety was so bad, I felt my heart beating, I could feel everything. I was basically reawakening to my spiritual side, the spiritual awakening, the ascension. A lot of people call it different, fancy terms, but basically, I was going through a lot of trauma, a lot of crap, and it was not easy to do this. And basically, there was a point I got my pillow on my sofa, I cracked myself up. Pillow and a blanket, and I slept on the sofa downstairs. My room was upstairs on the second floor, second level. And I would just basically watch Everybody Loves Raymond. I couldn't go out of my front desk, not my front door. I couldn't get out of my house. I wouldn't hang out with friends. I canceled on family. I was just doing really, really bad. And eventually, I started to get into meditation. I saw this healer. Her name, by the way, is Gabrielle Weber. You guys can find her on Facebook. You can friend request her, ask her questions. She got me through this anxiety-provoking last summer, the anxiety, the depression, the trauma. She did energy healing on me. She gave me this tourmaline. She gave me this Gamatron, which basically one is for getting rid of negative energy. Another one is for getting rid of toxic people. And the other one, the Gamatron, is for changing 20 frequencies in the body. And this was a big change for me. So basically, I couldn't even go outside my house. My sister's birthday, I had an anxiety attack. I didn't want to do anything. I was terrified. I said, Mom, I just can't do it. We drove to the place. It was 30 minutes away, but it wasn't that bad as I thought. But I went through a lot of crap during the summer. And eventually, my spiritual awakening shifted me, and I started to yell at my family. But it wasn't yell take my anger out. But my family said something that wasn't the nicest to me, and all of a sudden, last summer, I let them have it. I yelled at them, and on my other side of my family, my cousins and my uncle, and my mom and my dad backed me up and said, I'm so proud of you. And this was a big shift after my birthday, which I'm a Cancer, by the way, zodiac sign. I was born on July 2nd. And then what happened after that basically was I started to stand up for myself, and I started to look at Tony Robbins, Jake Ducey, Infinite Waters, Victor Odo. These people got me through the roughest periods of my life. And I started to start a YouTube channel, which, I said, I don't know, maybe I'll give this a try. I was expecting, to have a few subscribers, 50, maybe 100 was in my mind, but I never entailed to have almost 1,300 subscribers on YouTube. And it's incredible what I've been through. It goes to show you that really, if you start to believe in yourself, you can achieve anything you want in this lifetime. And now I do motivational speaker. See this? I'm making mistakes, but I'm not clicking the video and starting over it again because I'm showing you that we're human and we are allowed to make mistakes and we're allowed to mess up. And basically what happened was I went through all this trauma and stuff, but I saw that I was much more than this physical body. I started to get into lucid dreaming, astral projection, the Akashic records. All this stuff fascinated me and I loved it. Now I'm here to inspire people and to make a huge shift on planet Earth, and I feel really rare, or compared to most people. I don't feel like I'm from this planet. You guys probably don't either if you're watching my videos. I mean, I talk about some deep stuff like 12 universal laws, Hermecio, basically the different empaths, intuition. And I appreciate every one of you who tunes in to watch my videos every single day. I'm so grateful for you to be in my life. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was not easy for me to talk about, but I wanted to get off my chest and show you guys that you can achieve anything and dream big and never stop and make your dreams become your reality today. Thank you again. I love you guys. Peace and love.